It is easy for me to flow with all things that come my way without doubting their beauty. The sacred energy within me is flourishing and driving me forward. I honor the divine masculine and feminine within me. I am aligned with the compassionate and understanding energy that is divinely mine. I am confident that I am on the right path, directed by divine guidance, purpose, and the sensitivity of my soul's compass. I exude love and compassion. I am one with God and Goddess. I am a dynamic and powerful human being. I am whole. I ignite deep, ancient wisdom within. The masculine and feminine parts of me are in perfect balance and harmony. I feel revitalized, refreshed, and perfect in my wholeness. I am filled with light, love, and wisdom. I claim my feminine and masculine power and moved beyond all limitations.
I can't remember, but good morning, everybody. So good to see everybody on this bright and sunny day. I thought we could leave the curtains up today, but not today. It's sunny. It's so nice to have this space of sun. We love the rain and we love the sun both. So I'm Reverend Shay Lang, the spiritual leader here. So glad to have everybody here this morning. And Bodhi is over here ready to lead us into some music.
Are you ready to sing? All that I am is God. You ready for that? Do you believe that? Yes. All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, and all that I am is God. All that I see, and all that I hear, and all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, and all that I am is God. Let's do it again. All that I see, all that I hear, and all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, and all that I am is God. All that I am is God. God.
Thank you, Bodhi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a beautiful morning this is. So as we begin this service, as we begin this time we have together, we know the Spirit is with us here and always with us as we speak our vision and mission. If you'll look up on the screen and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A great affirmation for today, a beautiful day it is, that we celebrate Spirit within us that's unfolding and emerging through each of us and through this community, which I'm grateful for. A couple announcements. This is the last Sunday of Native North American Heritage Month. We just honor the sacred tradition. I think it's perfect that November is this month for a couple reasons. One is I think we need to tell the real story of Thanksgiving and the debt we owe to Native Americans and what they helped the pilgrims survive the winters, the harsh winters. But also about the gratitude. So I have studied with Native Americans before, and I love the concept of when you take something from the earth, whether it's water or something you buy at the grocery store or a compliment you receive from somebody, love you receive from somebody, there is a giving back. When they would have an animal that they killed for their food, they would always leave tobacco there in gratitude, or a plant and seeds, they would always leave tobacco in their gardens, their farms in gratitude. And so it's a giving and receiving of that. And the other part is that the all life is connected, all life is one, that we resonate with too. So both of those, I appreciate that. And as we go into our Thanksgiving holidays, may we remember to be grateful for the people in our lives, but also for the food, and let's make sure and give back, thanksgiving, give back in prayer, in love, and joy, in all that is. So, and this is the harvest of gratitude that we've been talking about this month. And we also know that at the end of the year, some of you have an abundance that you like to share with different nonprofits, different ways. And I so appreciate you considering, first of all, the Give Guide that Napa Can Do puts out is an amazing encyclopedia, assortment, choices for nonprofits to give to, and they're amazing nonprofits. And we also appreciate you considering Napa, our own center, in your year in giving. Yes, Susan? Oh, so Pro-Inclusion in Napa is in the Give Guide. Napa Can Do. That's great. That's great. And that's something that organically happened out of this center in collaboration with other people. So that's great that's great. Let's give Pro-Inclusion Napa and Napa Can Do a round of applause. So great. Also, December, these are dates that are important dates that are coming up. We have tried to not schedule too many things in December. We tend to do that. We'd like some time for introspection and contemplation as well. But one thing is on the 7th, which is a week from next Saturday? It would be December 7th. So not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday for that, we're going to have a holiday decorating party. All are invited. It'll be festive and fun. It'll get you in the holiday mood. Wear your Santa hats, wear your Christmas clothes, and come in, and we're going to put the trees up. We're going to put garlands up. We're going to decorate the lobby. We're just going to make it all with that holiday spirit. And we're also going to do some work outdoors, putting lights up in the trees and different things like that. So please come, and everybody is invited to be a part of that. And then time is 10 a.m. We're going to start at 10 a.m. And then the 19th at 7 p.m. is the winter solstice celebration. That'll be here in the sanctuary, probably too cold to be outside, but we might have part of the ritual outside. But that's always a good way to consider the natural cycle of what's going on at this time of the year when we tend to be busy, but really it's a time to be introspective, according to Native American, North American, Native American traditions, as well as the Celtic traditions. December 23rd, Monday, is our candle lighting service. Calvin Johnson's going to be our musician. The practitioners are in the process of creating that. It's going to be an amazing service, so I hope you can be here. It's got some really touching and beautiful and sacred things to it. And so I hope you can be here for that, 7 p.m. on then. And then on the 31st, for those of you who have trouble sleeping, 4 o'clock in the morning, some people don't even go to sleep that night. They just stay up for this. But it is a great way because it's a synchronization of other people in the same hour meditating across the globe. Not at 4 a.m., but at their time, when the time zone, when it is, so that everybody meditates in that same hour. So that's December 31st at 4 o'clock in the morning, right here in person. And it'd be great to be a part of that as well. So that's our December. There'll be other dates in January coming up, but we're just going to focus on December right now. So we are going to have the event advisory support team meeting next Sunday after the services. If you're part of that, please know that. I'll send an email out as a reminder. And then also I wanted to make sure you knew that we have entered into a partnership with Distinct Locations, which is an event venue, kind of a clearinghouse. And so they were listed on their website as a place for weddings, corporate parties, family events. So please know that our courtyard and our sanctuary are available for rentals. If you know anybody, we sent an email out this week, just forward that to them, or just have them contact Mary, or go straight to Distinct Locations. That's where we'll be sending people generally. So, and we're also here for prayer at all times. So if you have, this time of the year, sometimes the holidays can be challenging. I'm aware of that. So please turn to prayer. Send us online or in the lobby. We have written requests. Or stay after the service where you have practitioners who will pray with you in person, which is a gift to be able to do that. I know when I turn to have someone pray for me, it feels like I can feel it in my body and feel a shift happening when I couldn't feel it before myself. So it's a privilege to be able to do that. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
feeling that very vibration moving in and all around. That vibration which is ever present, but coalescing through the player, through the instrument, just like ourselves. We are the player and the instrument of this vibration, of this energy, of this light and love, this goodness, which is always everywhere, always, without exception, but we bring it in through the breath, move it out through the lips. We are the instrument of this one divine source and spirit, love and light, vibration, energy, constantly, with every breath in and every breath out. Knowing that this is the truth of each one of us who hears my voice, each one of us who does not, each one who is existing in this time, everywhere. This is the divine one moving through and as all of us. So I know that as we share this time together, we are remembering our very distinct, deep, beautiful, and resonant truth. We are the ones. We are the players and the flutes. We are the listeners. All connected all the time, without exception, completely and fully. And knowing that this is what is the truth, I claim this time together as holy, sanctified, blessed, and perfect. And so it is. Good morning. I'm Reverend Georgia Davis, pleased to be here today to be in service with all the people here and all the people online. Welcome. So I wanted to say a little bit about the harvest of abundance. And when I consider that today, I think about divine timing. So divine timing is always happening, and even though sometimes we want things to happen on our timing, that's why I love to look at nature, because you cannot force a flower to open. You cannot force fruit to be ripe. Well, you can put it in a paper bag, but it's not the same thing as when it ripens on the tree or the bush, right? So I think about that there is that time to harvest our abundance. But it takes the faith and the knowing and the trust that it's happening perfectly without us forcing it. I was thinking about this morning. I got a message. My son, he's so sweet. I think about him. Somehow he is a Christian. He chose to be a Christian. I mean, it's fine if you're a Christian. It's wonderful. It's just not. It was never my path, and I'm so proud that he chose his own path. And he did it in his own time and way. And he sent me this message today about, you might have seen it, about how they found out that Pokemon Go was all a way to get people to do geo-surveying. Yeah, and so meaning that people have been working for free geo-surveying for this company, right? And I thought about, that's how CAPTCHA works too. We've been teaching computers how to read signs. And when I looked at that about abundance and the harvest, that there's also an evolution that happens in abundance, and there's also an evolution in divine timing. And that's why it's so important to move with the flow, because if we're always ready to be receiving that abundance, it's going to happen in the right time and way, rather than pushing. When is it going to happen, But if we're looking, waiting, ready, knowing that our abundance is just about to, or in the flowering process, or ready to give us even more than we can imagine, then we can properly receive it. Then we can properly have it. And I said that about Pokemon Go because we don't always know the process, but something's happening. and we get to choose how we participate. And I bet people had tons of fun doing that too. So does it ruin that they had fun and they got out and they did things like that? No. That's just what part of the process was. So we get to choose what it is we are harvesting in our abundance. But know that it is always happening. It is always more is coming. It is always happening now. Your abundance is ready to be received. So are you ready to receive it is really the question. So thank you this morning, and I guess we get a little bit more Bodhi, one of my favorites.
Okay, thank you, Georgia. Divine timing, I like that. That's a good theme. And ready to receive. So I have a little story. I don't usually tell stories before my songs, but this song I'm singing for a particular reason, because some of you may know that I moved up to Mount Shasta, and I live on a kind of a circular dead-end street, and there's probably like 4 or 5 cars a day that come on my street. I mean, that's it. It's quiet. There's not much traffic. And so this week I was planning to come to church. I had to get to church on time, right? So, and sure enough, 2 feet of snow fell in 2 days, and my car was completely buried. And on the snowplow comes and plows the street. So there's a 10-foot berm, 5 feet thick, the length of my driveway, and then it rained. And so it's all sloshy and heavy and super, like, and thank God a friend came over and helped me dig my car out, right? So I got my car free. And then my snowplow guy said, oh yeah, I'll no problem, I'll come help you get it out. And then, sure enough, I call my snowplow guy, and I'm ready to get out. Got to get to church on time, you know. And he says, Bodhi, town is a mess. I'm not going to get out to your place for 2 or 3 days. I'm like, dude, I got to get to church on time. What am I going to do? So I'm sitting on the phone here. I'm looking at this mountain in front of me, wet, heavy snow with my little shovel. I'd be there for 2 or 3 hours, and I'd be crawling into church with my back all torn up. And just as I'm hanging up with my snowplow guy, I kid you not, this tractor drives by. This little old guy looked just like the angel from It's a Wonderful Life. You know? He's got a round face, he's smiling, it's pouring rain. I'm out there and I'm soaking wet. He's driving by with his hat on and his big smile, and he's driving big, and he looks at me and I go like this. And he goes like that, and I go, and I tell you, and he proceeds to like take out the berm, and then he goes, and I go, and he drives on. I kid you not, I mean, like, so got to get to church on time, you know? So then I remembered this song that I wrote with a friend of mine, and it was like so appropriate, I had to sing it. There are angels all around us. Their love always surrounds us. And if anything confounds us, they are here to help us find our way. There are angels here to guide us, to help us hear and see. They could be right here beside us, and are they here inside of you and me? Do they know that they are angels? Do they know that they are here for us as they travel on their own path by their light, guiding us to trust? Are these angels wearing wings, shimmering and bright? Are they way up in heaven, bathed in pure white light? Or are they wearing old blue jeans at the local bar, eating chips and salsa, asking how you are? Oh, the secret is to see them and to find them every day and learn to recognize them. Listen close to what they have to say. They are here to give their love to you, to share compassion that you are due, to find the joy, let go of fear after all. Isn't that why we're here? Are these angels wearing wings, shimmering and bright? Are they way up in heaven, bathed in pure white light? Or are they wearing old blue jeans at the local bar, eating chips and salsa and asking how you are? There are angels all around us. Their love always surrounds us. And if anything confounds us, they are here to help us find our way. I made it to church on time. Amen.
A woman too. Okay.
There was something of balancing masculine and feminine up there, I saw.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what I love about that story is you just can't make up stories like that.
I mean, he looked exactly like the guy. You know, they had to get his wings, you know, he's on the bridge. Clarence.
Yes.
Saving Stuart, you know, James. Oh my God, he looked just like him, and he was smiling, big round face in his tractor. He was pouring rain.
I bet if you tried to look for him, you'll never find him.
Oh, I don't know where he came from.
Maybe one day. We are all him. There you go. There you go. So we continue our theme this month, Harvest of Gratitude, and I'm just grateful for everyone here in this community. I'm also headed to Rhode Island on Tuesday to see my son and his wife and our grandkids, who are not cute and adorable anymore, but they're still adorable. So 12 and 14 years old, and it'll be great to connect with them and enjoy the gratitude with them for all of them. And I think the weather is going to be good enough. So it'll be fun. So at this time of year, I have a favorite Thanksgiving joke to tell you. I don't tell jokes, the same joke every year, because I want to you guys not to go, oh, it's that joke again. But I found more and more with you guys, you forget the jokes anyway, so I could tell them every year. So there's a man that I heard about, and he was first time he was going to host Thanksgiving at his house. And he was going to have friends over, and he bought the turkey and put it in the freezer and got the cranberry and the stuffing and the yams and just all the green beans, all the stuff he was going to make. And he was so excited about it. But he called one of his friends, and his friend says, "Oh, I can't make it. I'm actually going out of town. And a favor to ask you, would you watch my parrot while I'm out of town?" And he goes, "Oh, sure. He goes, "Well, don't say yes. He's kind of a rude parrot." I go, how rude could he be? So anyway, he brought the bird home, and sure enough, he put the cage in one of the main rooms, and every time this guy came into the room, the parrot would insult him, make some rude comment, make fun of him. And it was just, at first he was tolerating it, but he just kept getting more and more tired of it. So he finally took the parrot, trying to teach it a lesson, and put it in the freezer. Shut the door, and he could still hear the parrot talking through the door. So he just left, and he came back a little bit, and there was no noise. And he figured, oh no, I've killed it. So he opened the door, took out the parrot, and it was still alive, thank God, but it was shivering. And the parrot says, "Please forgive me for being so rude." And the guy goes, okay, just be nicer. And so he put him back in his cage, and it was real quiet for a while. And then the parrot says, "What exactly did the turkey do?" He didn't want to end up like that turkey in the freezer, that's for sure. I don't think any of us wants to. So just when you have turkey on Thanksgiving, if you do, please be grateful for that. Yeah. So today we're talking about powering up. And I love this topic, to power up to create a better world. The world needs our power. Our individual power, our creative power, our power of compassion and love. Now, I think the word power has had a mixed blessing, and people, aren't sure because there's been a lot of misuse of power for somebody, for themselves. I would call it a toxic power that is not a world that works for everyone, but a world that works for them and their group, their tribe. And what the model of power that I'd like to suggest is that there can be compassion and power. They're not ruled out, that you can have both, that there's a middle way, because some people think if you're too nice, you're not powerful, and if you're too powerful, you're not nice. There is a way that we can be compassionate and powerful at the same time, and in a way that allows others to be powerful also. In fact, that's the way, the only way this world's going to work for everyone, is if we're all able to speak our truth, to be in a power, to be able to make, to give our thoughts and ideas. It doesn't mean all our ideas are put into motion, that they become so, but we're at the table where we can share and understand and have insight into why people want certain things, and we can work together to create a world that works for everyone in a way that we may not know unless we come together. And I will say this doesn't come easy, that we need to practice it, to be aware, to be mindful of how we ask questions, how we encourage people, how we engage, and how we are willing to do things for other people too. And this kind of power is inclusive, engaging, it's shared, it's flexible. There's an abundance that happens for all. There's a false belief that one thing that affects sharing power in this nation, there's many of them, but one of them is that immigrants only take resources. I will say first-generation migrants, yes, there's a need for resources. But if we give them a place where they belong, they're always giving back. They're part of the community. They grow and are empowered. And it's important to know that there's a lot of wisdom in the migrants that come here. That they've had full lives where they have been, and they've come here to start a new life, and that we offer resources to help them do that, but then they become part of the community, are in this way. I don't know if Michelle Wilson's in here. There you are. Your shirt is just lovely today. It talks about Jesus was an undocumented migrant. Brown-skinned, undocumented migrant, right? So we're all have this consciousness, this Christ consciousness, if you want to call it. We all have a place where we can belong, and sometimes when a person, if you want to call them a traveler, no matter what country they come from, whether it's Ukraine or Mexico, that they need a place, and we offer resources like the food bank, like Puerto Abiertas offers resources. There's a workforce housing that's being built with 40 units downtown. And workforce housing means it's somebody that has a job, but they're underemployed, and it's a way for them to be able to prosper in this. And there's more workforce housing up Valley, but this is the first one in downtown Napa. And so it's real exciting. And these are our ideas that this power that I'm talking about, as we realize our inner power, we don't give it away, nor do we need to take it from anybody. It begins within us, just like peace and joy, that we find the strength within us that's more strength than we ever thought we had, that we thought we wouldn't be able to do certain things, and we can when we rely on this inner strength. We have to let go of old beliefs about what power is, forgiveness of those, because the thing about power is we have all experienced times when we have been overpowered, that we've been manipulated, coerced, and we've all, maybe I'll speak for myself, I can't speak for everybody in here, but have been the one who has attempted to overpower other people through coercion and manipulation. So we're aware of this this power that it's not, the healthy kind is not competitive, it's cooperative. And we find that power that's considerate and compassionate, that's inclusive. Ernest Holmes said there's a power for good in this universe that's greater than we are, and we can use it. Now I'll say that I like to switch it around a little bit, just because I can use it sounds, or even we can use it, sounds a little bit like by me kind of consciousness, that self-determination, that you're going to will something to happen. I don't think that's the way Ernest Holmes intended it, but it's the way it sounds in today's context. So I like to say that there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can allow it to use us. We can allow it to come through us and be this. And in this way, it is through me, it is through us. And it allows for other people to be a part of that as well. I know my own path through claiming my power. Probably started when I was a teenager, and I experienced masculinity as something I couldn't relate to. It just didn't gel with me. So I was looking for different ways of being. I wasn't super conscious as a teenager to understand, but now I would call that toxic masculinity. I didn't have those terms now. But as I grew into my 20s, I began to recognize that there were other ways to use my power, that I can be powerful and compassionate. Before, when I was just resisting the traditional masculine power, I became, in that rebellion, in that resistance, I became very passive and indecisive. And that didn't serve anybody. So I began to recognize something deeper and began to find other men who were also struggling with that masculine model. And we were part of the men's movement that was in the 1980s and 1990s, led by people like Robert Bly, Joseph Campbell, Danon Perry, Sam Keen, all these people, very, very powerful. And we began to not only find our own masculinity, but a balance between our divine masculine and our divine feminine. And we could be both compassion and power. Now I will say that I had the privilege, being a white male, to explore my power, to do it a different way. But a lot of people of color, women, don't have that privilege. And so power is a greater response, a greater challenge at times for you. You know, what I know about women is that they have carried the wisdom teachings for centuries. You know, there was a time when women were warriors and they were the shamans and the medicine women of the tribe, but in the last few thousand years, it's been a patriarchy. So women would take a back seat maybe, but they knew their own inner power, their own inner wisdom, And they knew the importance of continuing this teaching, and they did that in small groups, even though they couldn't be necessarily the person who's out speaking about it in public. They would empower their husbands or their sons to do that. And the thought is that that's what Mary, the mother of Jesus, did, that she was a wisdom teacher. And she taught her son, and her son grew up to be the public presence of this wisdom teachings, a part of the Essenes and other traditions that they taught. So what I know is that women have continued, and people of color too, have continued to march and speak and advocate and demand power in different ways. And it's sad that you're still having to do that. So in the 1890s, the spiritualism that was then, or late 1800s, spiritualism that was led by women and was the start of New Thought. In the 1920s, a lot of those same women did the suffragette movement to get the right to vote. I think it's fascinating that black men had the right to vote before women did. So yeah, you're going, yeah. So me, I'm amazed, but all the women are going, yeah. Duh. In the 60s, it was the women's liberation movement. But even now, you're continuing to have to march and demand the right to make your choices about your own body. And I will say that this center will always stand in favor of you having that right to choose what happens to your own body. There will never be any delineation. Because I do believe this power has to be shared. And I think what's great about what's going on with men and women right now and people of non-conforming gender identity is that we're aware this inner masculinity, this divine masculinity, this divine feminine doesn't have anything to do with men and women or non-conforming gender. It has to do with our expressions within, and we all have both this divine feminine and masculinity. And I know for me, from when I first discovered that, it's a daily practice of how to blend these energies, how to claim this inner divine power that I can use, that I want to be inclusive, and I want to be considerate, and I want to be powerful. I want to make a difference in this world, and the only way that's going to happen is if we're able to do that. I can think of this nonviolent way of protest that people of color and women have used. It's a standing of a boundary. So people like Martin Luther King and Dr. Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huertas. And I also love, I think it's on here, yes, this young girl, Mia Mendez, recently became public in Napa. So I don't know if you know it, but there is a statue of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta that's been around for 20 years probably, but it's in a hidden place and nobody knows where it is because they couldn't find a park location. The city couldn't agree on where to put it. So Michael Holcomb, the developer, put it up on the second floor across the street from Veterans Park, but not in Veterans Park because they're not veterans. So the city didn't want it there. So, but there, it's up there and hardly anybody knows it's there. And so this girl, Mia, wants to, she studied them and wants this to be in a place where people can see it. So she's advocating for that. And I think we should join her in that because I think it needs to be in a place where people can see it. They're talking about maybe Fuller Park or some other park, maybe a Fantastico playground. So different places they're talking about. But she's standing in her power. Is she demanding it? No, but she's saying this is what we need to do. And for a young girl like this to be in her power, I just love it. And I want to honor that and cherish that. And I think as we move forward with this idea of powering up. We power up by integrating all aspects of ourselves, the masculine and the feminine. A lot of times people think of it as being like a balance scale like this. Okay, I'll add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But I think a better model is that it's an integration of different aspects of ourselves. It's a blending, a union. It's not separate. The scale idea, I think I understand why people might say that, but it's still showing a division, like our right and left brain. Yes, we have a right and left brain, but the idea is we integrate it. So we integrate it in this way as well. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about the definition of power. So there's a man named David Hawkins who wrote a book called Power versus Force. Excellent book if you've not read that. It's probably 25 years old, but it's so true still. So he says that power, true power, authentic power, comes from within. And it's based on principles such as integrity, courage, compassion. It creates life, enlivens, furthers evolutions, and make things work out. Make things work. There's a reverence and a value for life. Versus force is an external, relies on fear, coercion, and manipulation. Force is not only comes from fear, but it wants other people to be in fear, to make people small, to be apathetic, to wear them out so that they're not in their power. It's very by me consciousness, and they want to create in others a to me consciousness, a victimhood, because that keeps them small. It's associated with negative emotions like anger, pride, and fear. It's interesting, Ernest Holmes has something else powerful, I think related to this, is he says, ideally, it's good to be for something and against nothing. So the force energy is against. It's separating. It's making others small. Versus power is for something. Together. It's about us creating something together and allowing. Authentic power motivates cooperation. It leaves rooms. Now, there is an authentic power that sets boundaries. Like the marches that we have done for nonviolence and that were done for decades before us, it says this is not okay. Racism is okay. Misogyny is not okay. Abuse is not okay. That doesn't mean that we are not clear and we don't hold people accountable. That's true power, is that. Otherwise, it's passive and just letting other people do what they want. Some people call this the church that anything goes. Well, that's not true. We have clear principles that we stand on. And I know the first science and mind teacher I had, her name was Wanda Gentili. And she was a powerful woman. She ran her own business, had a catering business, and was very successful in it. And I remember in her classes, she had very clear structure with it, very clear principles. And in our discussions, we were talking one day, and we were talking about the masculine and feminine. She goes, you know what? You have more of the divine feminine than I do. I'm a stronger divine masculine. And we talked about that, and yet we were both seeking to integrate. But that was an awareness for me. And we continue to look at that ways about how we merge, how we balance our energies. I think a Venn diagram is probably the best way to look at the difference between masculine and feminine energies. So the feminine is cooperative. It has to do with the moon, reflection, intuitive, nurturing, process, community value, and family-oriented. Versus the masculine is competitive, logic, sun, analytical parts, encouraging, supportive, action results, given, driven, goal-oriented. Now, neither one is right all the time. The integration, because we need to have focus. Sometimes we need to narrow it down to get something done. But we also want to include other people, not to be so driven that we don't consider other people. There are times we want to be encouraging and supportive of people. Sometimes we need to analyze, and other times And all the times, really, we need to make sure and see the whole of the system. So it's just a balance of things, a balance of ways of doing things. Shakti Gawain says, a union of feminine and masculine energies within the individual is the basis of all creation. I love that. The union of feminine and masculine energies is the basis of all creation. It is the creative force that we know. So we allow this power to come up from within to establish a power. Some people say that all they need to know in their life they learned in kindergarten. You've heard that phrase, right? Well, I believe that all I need to know in my life I learned in my garden or in nature. Because nature is such a great model of power that comes through us. Like Dylan Thomas, the poet, says, the green fuse is the same force that drives the flower, that blasts the roots of trees, that drives the water through the rocks. It's a powerful force. So I've been playing with things in my garden this year, and I was reading about the principles of regeneration. So regeneration, how can that, I know a little bit about regenerative farming, but how can I do that in my garden? Well, I was reading about this really cool idea about, instead of usually come right before at the end of the fall, I pull up plants, pull up the roots and everything, and I shake off the dirt. But I notice a lot of dirt comes with it. I can't shake it all off. Some really good dirt, but I compost it. But here's what regeneration says is just cut it off. Leave the roots, because these roots are nutrients. Just leave them in the soil. They will decay eventually, but they will leave all those nutrients in the soil. So I did that this year. And it made me think about how, as I walked in my garden, we are never alone, because we have ancestral roots below us. This power comes up from within us, and it regrows, regenerates. This whole concept that I am the cause of growth by putting a seed in the soil and it grows up, that I'm responsible, that it's growing because I did it, that I should take some responsibility for all this food that I'm growing. It is spirit itself that is the green fuse that comes through us. And this is the power that we can stand strong in, knowing that spirit and our ancestors are in the very roots of our being, and we can be grounded in our power this way. That we can be alive in this way. That we don't have to do it all. It doesn't even require us to plant seeds. There's stuff growing all the time that we didn't plant, right? The roots I left in there were even some little cucumbers that started growing up from the cucumber roots I left in there. Spirit allows us to create as long as we're doing this together. It is necessary that we find our power together so we can do this together. Right? If there's something that you need from this center, something you would like from this center, speak up. Let's create this together. Let's do this together. It doesn't make any sense for 1 or 2 or 3 people to make decisions and think that's going to serve everyone. And in this microcosm of community we have now, we can practice this. And we can spread it in the other areas of our lives as we share power, as we power up. Now, next week, I am going to be back on Sunday, and we're going to talk about ways that we can keep our power up, where there's no power leaks, and the way we can re-energize ourselves. So please come back for kind of part 2 of this idea, and we'll share some more of that. But for now, just notice your energies and how they integrate on a daily basis. Are you a little more feminine, a little more masculine today? And just allow that and know that there are different ways of doing things as we continue to find the way that we can power up to create a better world, a world that works for everyone. Let's go to prayer. I know spirit is the power that is inherent on this planet. It's in the very soil, the very roots the very support of us. That the universe has our back. And I know Spirit right now through us is this power, is this greatness that guides us towards what is ours to do and to let go of the rest. I know anybody who is seeking healing or realization, awareness, insights today that is seeking that in prayer, the Spirit is that healing, that insight, that revelation, that realization in you right now. It is coming forth and becoming so. And we know anybody whose prayer you hold in your heart right now, that same realization, insight, and healing is coming to them as well. For that is the nature of Spirit. We're grateful for the Spirit in and through us that we know to be so. In this love and this delight and this gratitude, we simply allow it to be through us, this power for good that is in the universe. We allow it to come through us and know it is so. And so it is.
Walk in the rain and feel your bountiful Spirit. I lay on the earth, touch your heart of stone. I dance in the wind and spin like the mountain river. I pray to the sun, give thanks for this beautiful home. I sleep on a cloud and dream your celestial vision. And all that is made can easily be undone. I wander the world and taste so many colors. I walk by the sea, I know that all is one. Rain, rain, rain. Rain, 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 rain. Rain, 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 rain. Rain, 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 rain. I walk in the rain and feel your bountiful Spirit. I lay on the earth and touch your heart of stone. I dance in the wind and spin like the mountain river. I walk by the sea, I know that all is one. I walk by the sea, I know that all is one. I love the rain. I love the rain.
I do too. And the snow.
Not as much. I love it in pictures.
Yeah, I know. It's fun falling.
Yeah, it's
But
fun to
once
watch
it's
it fall.
fallen,
Yeah.
it's not as much fun.
I like it if I don't have anywhere to be and I have a fire in the house.
Yes.
And I don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
Don't have to get to work.
Right.
Then it's great.
We left our snow shovel in Denver, and we're grateful for that.
I have 2 of them.
Right. So blessings to everybody today. This is the time to invite you into the law of circulation. We know that which you give and receive comes back to you in many ways. So if I could have our ushers come forward, please. I'm grateful for all the contributions you give to the center, the way you contribute in many ways. And I invite you to take that which you've given to represent what you've given in the past, what you give today, what you'll give in the future, and bring it to your heart and repeat this affirmation with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I recite, and so it is.
God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm a-talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm a-talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm a-talking to, I give myself to be used. I give myself to be used. I give myself to be used by, you ready? You.
This time in our service, we want to acknowledge anybody who might be here for the first time. We also honor those who haven't been here in a while, but please know this is also always a safe passage, a safe place for you. So you're welcome at any time. So if anybody happens to be here for the first time, if you're willing to raise your hand, we'd like to give you a little gift. Anybody here for the first time? Okay, not today, so that's good. Anybody? We also welcome anybody online who might be here for the first time, and returning people. We always love to have you as part of our community here while you're online. Feel free to put where you're from or a hello to our moderator. Michelle Lang is our moderator today. Alex is back there with sound. We appreciate all the things they do. So we do have an affirmation for all of us. We raise our hands and just say it to each other. We bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is, including those who have to dig out the snow to be here. You made it to church today. By the way, if he made it here today, you guys don't have any excuses. So.
Good one. They did. Look at y'all. Great to be here.
Could the practitioners come forward, please? Please know that they are here for prayer afterwards. If you so want one-on-one prayer, just stay in your seat, and everybody else will move out into the sunshine. Still sunshine out there for coffee and snacks, and then you can have your prayer here. And also we have prayers in the lobby you can fill out and online. So thank you for being here today. So let's all stand for the community affirmation. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love.
Protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
And so it is. Now our closing song.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside, in every breath, peace. And I know the joy of peace. I choose fear to release. Every moment, love wakes up, and peace is every step. Oh, and peace is every step. And peace is every step. Woo!
Forward. Please know that every step is of peace and love. And let's go make a difference in the world. Many blessings.
Yay.